Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play. Link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review of Warzone Charadon. It's Act 2, or the second part in this series, the Book of Fire. So in this video it'll be a full review, tactical review as well. So we'll go through the entire book, and obviously focusing on specifically the rules, and we'll look at it from sort of a tactical point of view, at how some of the new rules and so on will be a help to the various factions in the book. So before we get going here, just a shout out to Games Workshop. Big thanks to them for sending me a copy of this through the post. You could, for Discount 40k, you can check out the channel sponsors here, Goblin Gaming. Link for them is in the video description below. And if you are placing an order for Games Workshop stuff or whatever it is, they do all sorts of different gaming systems, a large variety of items available from Goblin Gaming. Then if you use the unique link that's in the video description below, then it helps the channel in a small way as well. So if you do that, it's much appreciated. Warzone Charadon then. Take a look at the fluff and the pictures at the start of this book here. So there's some help for Chaos in here. There's some help for the Adeptus Mechanicus and Sisters of Battle as well. Just this usual combination, good idea, where Games Workshop release an update to the storyline, and then mixed in with that some rules. There's rules for added Bellicor as well, which I'll take a look at. That model may well make an appearance on the channel quite soon as well, which is exciting stuff. Keep a lookout for him. Bellicor's prize. Bellicor the Dark Master himself. Incredible new sculpt from Games Workshop as well. Nightfall it's talking about here. Domitus Crusade, Charadon Aflame, More Than Vast, she's featured already in a couple of our games. New sculpt, new character for the Sisters of Battle. Zeed's Lair, Taint Takes Hold. So just giving you an idea of the contents of the book here. The Battle for Metallica. So on to Adeptus Mechanicus. Plenty of effort made with these books. They're beautifully produced. Aftermath, talk about different forces involved. The Loyalist Alliance here, Imperial Knight Sisters, Astrum of the Tyrant, and Chaos here, Chaos Knights. It's something we'd love to do on the channel. I get a Chaos Knights army to take on the Imperial Knights. That'll be a good showdown. Death Guard here as well, and then help with the different Chaos Legions as well. So then there's the campaign rules if you want to play the campaign. So ways to play, campaign length and so on. I'll flick through this, we won't cover this, we'll get to the rules for the units and models here. But you can really immerse yourself in the campaign. There's unique missions contained in the book as well. Darkness Descends on Colossi. Yeah. Return to Fathom. Another mission. Plague Bringer Offensive. And then now we're on to Army rules here. Next. So, yeah, we'll cover this then. First of all, it's the Skitarii Veteran Cohort. So I'm currently revamping my Skitarii, or my Adeptus Mechanicus at the moment. So we'll see if any of this stuff here is any good. So the idea behind this one, many Forge Worlds maintain veteran cohorts consisting of their most highly trained and cunningly augmented Skitarii. Deployed in swift, self-contained response to deadly threats, these forces possess the strategic autonomy to employ brutal shock tactics against their foes. So, makes sense here. A veteran cohort is an army of renown, page 63. So that's here, and this is just saying to become an army of renown, you've got to we've got to stick to all the restrictions outlined here and so on for that. But so your restrictions then, here it is. All units in your army must be Skitarii, so fair enough. With the following exceptions: a Tech Priest Dominus model can include one Tech Priest Manipulus model. Your army can include one Tech Priest Dominus, one Tech Priest Manipulus. Your army can include one Tech Priest Engineer model. Your army can include one Techno-Archaeologist model. Note that this means your army can include one of each of these specified models. And then all units in your army must be drawn from the same Forge World. Each detachment in your army must include at least one Skitarii Marshal, so you have to take the new model, and you all must be the Skitarii Marshal as well. So yes, okay, so fair enough, but you do need the Marshal model. I've been recommended to get him. There's some clever combos you can do with that model. Then benefits then. All Skitarii units in your army gain the Skitarii Veteran Cohort keyword. You have access to the Skitarii Cohort Warlord trait, relic and stratagems. If all Skitarii range units in your army must be upgraded to Skitarii Ranger veterans, and all of the veteran Vanguard units must be veterans as well, and the rules for those are here. Cohort veterans. Each time you upgrade a Skitarii Rangers or veteran unit, its power rate is increased or points. So it's the same here. So per 10 models is 1 power level, and then it's 2 points per model. So is it worth it? We shall see, because the structure of my army would have to adjust to fit some of these restrictions here. I'd need to take a Marshal, for example, and I would need to drop some units as well. But it's possible. So the veterans then, so that they gain +1 leadership and attacks. Okay, and then they get a 5+1 save instead of a 6+. It's a bit more durable and a bit more effective in close combat. You wouldn't usually think of Rangers for close combat, but that's the bonus you're getting here. And then stealth optimization. Each time a range attack is made against this unit, unit receives the benefit of light cover, as described in the core book. If the unit makes a normal move, advances or fall back, it loses the ability. So if you sit still, even in the open, you'll get light cover. That's quite cool. So useful for your like sniper teams and so on. But I'd rather have 100 times over have taken +1 ballistic skill on them. Surprised I didn't do that. You get extra attacks instead. And then with the Vanguard veterans here, it's +1 leadership and attacks, 5 invuln save, and then this one it's skirmish optimization. Each time an advance roll is made for this unit, you roll an additional d6 and discard one of the dice. Each time this unit is targeted by a weapon with blast roll, the unit never counts as containing 6 or more models. Alright, because they count as like spreading out. That's quite clever. Okay, so it's encouraging to go for larger units with them. That is a pretty good incentive. Yeah, it means if you're larger units, you can get better use of the stratagems that you can put onto the Vanguard veterans. So not bad. Would like the +1 ballistic skill, but still not too bad. Warlord traits then. See if it's worth unlocking this cohort to get access to these. So Warlord trait, calculate without diversion. While the Warlord is on the battlefield once per battle, if the Protector imperative is active for your army, you can use the Binaric Offensive stratagem until the end of the phase. That stratagem costs 1 fewer CPs to a minimum of 0. Once per battle, if the Conqueror Doctriner imperative is active for your army, you can use the Aggression Override stratagem. Same as that. And then once per battle, if the Bulwark imperative is active, you can use the Bionic Endurance stratagem once. And then if the Aggressor imperative is active, you gain access to the Expedited Purge Protocol stratagem. So we may as well cover these then. So 3 CP for Binaric Offensive. Use this stratagem in the shooting phase. Select 1 enemy unit and 2 Skitarii Veteran Cohort core units from your army. So 2 Ranger units, for example. Until the end of the phase, models in those 2 Skitarii units can only target that enemy unit, and only if that enemy unit is an eligible target for those attacks. Each time model in one of those 2 Skitarii units makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. So +1 to the wound roll. It's alright, I'm sure it'll be helpful enough, but it's 3 CP for it. Aggression Override, next 1 CP. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. Select one Skitarii veteran cohort unit from your army that made a charge move this turn. You get an extra attack. So you got your extra attack here and your extra attack with stratagem. So all of a sudden, it's a bit of a shock. Amount of attacks coming through with them. So that's there if you need it. And then Bionic Endurance, 2 or 3 CP. Use a stratagem in any phase when a model in a Skitarii veteran cohort unit from your army would lose a wound. To the end of the phase, each time model in that unit would lose a wound. It's 5+ feel no pain. If it's a power rating of 10 or more, it costs 3 CP instead of 2. So a bit of feel no pain available. But you spend a CP on units that are quite low priority, you know, rangers and veterans, just standard infantry. Expedited Purge Protocol, 1 or 2 CP. Use a stratagem in the movement phase when a Skitarii veteran cohort core unit, excluding vehicles from your army, advances. The unit is eligible to declare a charge in this turn, even though it advanced. If the unit is a Skitarii Rangers or veteran unit, it costs 1 CP, otherwise it's 2. So advance and charge is available as well. So it's a bit more of an aggressive form of a Skitarii detachment here. So fair enough, it may well fit perfectly with what some players are looking to do with their army. But yeah, it's okay. Relic next. In your command phase, you can select. This is a Cantic Frolnet. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Skitarii cohort core unit within 9 inches of this model, or you can select one friendly veteran cohort core data Tefat unit from anywhere on the battlefield. Then select one Doctrine Imperative. To the start of your next command phase, that Doctrine Imperative is active for that unit, even if it has not been active for your army already during the battle. Selecting a Doctrine Imperative, this rule does not prevent you from selecting it to be active for your army in subsequent battle rounds. So it's, yeah, you can pick out a unique one of those just as you need it with that relic. And it's done in the command phase. So there, more an aggressive form of Skitarii there, which is okay. And then now they're adding in Order of Our Martyred Lady here for the Sisters of Battle. That's going to gain you access to relics and traits here. So it's the usual, you've got to keep all the units with that same Order of Our Martyred Lady keyword and so on. So Warlord traits then. Saintly example number 1. In addition to this Warlord trait, this Warlord has 1 randomly generated Warlord trait from the Adeptus Sororitas Warlord traits table in Codex Sisters of Battle. Each Warlord trait in your own must be unique, so reroll duplicate results. Yeah, sorry, it's if our Martyred Lady character model gains a Warlord trait. Yeah, so it's saying here you can choose one or randomly generate one of these 3. The extra ability here for Saintly example, if the Warlord is destroyed, you can immediately select another Order of Martyred Lady character model from your army that doesn't have a Warlord trait, and select a Warlord trait that no model in your army has. This must be a Warlord trait that the model you selected can have, and is not a Saintly, and it cannot be a Saintly example. At the end of the battle, that model gains the Warlord trait, and for all rules purposes now counts as your Warlord. So you can shift your Warlord over, hand over command to someone else. Pretty cool. Yep. Okay, and then St. Catherine's Legacy number 2. The Spirit of a Martyred Lady Right is active for this Warlord in addition to any others that are active for your army. This Warlord has the following ability: St. Catherine's Legacy, it's Nora, or a friendly Order of a Martyred Lady units within 6 inches of this Warlord. If the Spirit of the Martyr's Sacred Right is active for your army, or for that unit, each time you roll a d6. When a model on that unit is destroyed, the attacking model suffers a mortal wound on a 5+. Interesting. And then Martyr's Strength. For each wound this Warlord has lost, add 1 to its strength and attacks. That's pretty good. Nice. Yeah, pretty good. If you find yourself in that situation where you've taken a good number of wounds, that's pretty good. Some heroic stuff then. With a wounded Warlord there. Then relics, actually giving you 4 to choose from. Blade of Sacrifice. So it's replacing the Power Sword, and you get +1 strength, AP -3 and 1 damage. Then the abilities here, each time the bearer is selected to fight, you could channel the bearer's soul. If you do, the bearer loses between 1 and 2 wounds. You cannot lose more wounds than this model has remaining. If the bearer channeled their soul, Until the fight is resolved, each time an attack is made with this weapon, on a successful wound roll, the target suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the number of wounds this model lost when channeling their soul. The attack sequence ends. Right. Each time taking this weapon on a successful wound roll. Right, so for example, you take the 2 wounds, so you drop 2 wounds, and then each, it's actually really good. On a successful wound roll, target suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the number of wounds the model lost when channeling their soul. So you could cost you 2 wounds, but you could dish out a whole load more with successful wounds. It's a blade of sacrifice. Very, very powerful. That's really good, that one. Very, very good. Helm of the Fiery Heart next. Once per battle before making a saving throw for the bearer, this relic's saintly blessings can be activated. If they are activated until the end of the phase, the bearer has a 2+ invulnerable save. This invulnerable save throw can never be re-rolled. You get it to the end of the phase. Another one, another fantastic one. Super strong. Wow, Armor Indomitus is good, but this one, 2+ invulnerable save, fantastic. Brilliant. You almost go, I'd take both somehow. So again, helping you, these are all helpful for getting stuck in. So giving a boost to some of the weaker armies as far as close combat is concerned. This is a battle okay, but some extra enhancements here, and then we've seen some enhancements for the Skitarii as well. Sceptre of Vengeance, a Dogmata model only, replaces the Mace of the Righteous. So you're getting ×2 strength with this, AP -2 and 2 damage, and each time an attack is made with this weapon against a Tyranids unit, you get +1 to the attack's wound roll on top of that as well. And then the Sandela Scroll, a Magify model only. Once per battle in your command phase, the bearer can unveil the Sandela Scroll. If it does so, then to the start of the next command phase, the bearer gains the following ability. Sandela Scroll, aura. While a friendly Order of Armata Lady character or core unit is within 6 inches, it's +1 attack. So, excellent. Only once per battle, but that key point in the game, get extra attacks. So these are all good. These are very good relics, these ones. Really, really nice. So, Order of Armata Lady looking good. And stratagems. And they're giving you 8 stratagems here, unique to them as well. Excellent. I wonder if these are any good. Vengeance for Armageddon, 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. When an Order of Armata Lady unit from your army selected to fight. At the end of the phase, each time model that unit makes a melee attack against an Orc unit, you can reroll the hit roll. Okay, useful. Zealous Death Wish, 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. When an Order of Armata Lady unit from your army selected to fight. Each time model that unit makes a melee attack against unit contains at least 5 more models in the attacker's unit. When it's selected to fight, it can add 1 to the attack's hit roll. For the purposes of the stratagem, vehicles count as 5 models. Pious Machine Spirit, 1 CP. Use this stratagem in your command phase. Select one Order of Armata Lady vehicle model from your army that has a wounds characteristic of 10 or more. To start of your next command phase, the model is considered to have its full wounds remaining for purposes of determining its characteristics on its profile to use. So that, again, that's a useful stratagem. Very useful indeed. Rejoice the Fallen, 2 CP for this one. Use this stratagem at the end of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one Order of Armata Lady unit from your army that was not below half strength at the start of this phase but is now below half strength. The unit can shoot as if it were the shooting phase. Cool. Nice. These are good here for sisters. Martyr's Pyre, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. Select one Order of Armata Lady infantry unit from your army that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units to the end of that phase. The type of all flame weapons. Okay, I can change it to pistols. Yeah. So an assault D6 becomes pistol D6. Wow. That's only 1 CP. And then after this unit is resolved its attacks, roll 1d6 for each model in that unit that fired a flame weapon. For each roll of a 1, one of those models of your choosing can shoot again with its flame weapon. I thought they were going to die, but they shoot again. But after the second shooting attack is resolved, and whether it's shot or not, the model is destroyed. Oh, it does die. Okay. But you die and get to shoot though, so brilliant. Very thematic, Love the idea of that one. Then Death Before Disgrace. Use this stratagem at the start of your movement phase. Select one order of a Martyred Lady, Infantry or Paragon Warsuit from your army. The unit cannot fall back. The unit has the objective secured ability. If the unit already has objective secured, then for the purposes of determining which player controls an objective marker, each model of that unit counts as an additional model. So yeah, could be helpful enough. And then a Martyr's Duty, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in any phase when an order of a Martyred Lady core unit from your army is selected as the target of an attack. At the end of that phase, so remember this is shooting or close combat, or psychic phase. At the end of that phase, each time a model in this unit is destroyed by 1d6 and a 4+, do not remove that model from play. It can, after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, either shoot with one of its ranged weapons, as if it were the shooting phase, or make an attack with one of its melee weapons, as if it were the fight phase. In resolving these attacks, your model is considered to have 1 wound remaining. If the Spirit of the Martyr's Sacred Rite is active for your army or for that unit, resolve these attacks before resolving the Sacred Rite's effects. After resolving these attacks, the destroyed model is then removed. Another decent stratagem, only 1 CP. But getting to shoot, wow. Yep. Very good indeed. And then Exemplar of the Order, 1 CP. Use your stratagem after nominating an Order of a Martyred Lady model, excluding named characters, to be a Warlord. You get an additional Warlord trait. Yeah, 1 additional Warlord trait. So is that similar to the Blood Angels? I think where you get 2 on the same model, but you get the restriction here. The model gains additional Warlord trait. This must be from a Martyred Lady Warlord traits table. Each Warlord trait in your army must be unique. You can only use a stratagem once. Yes, I think you double stack. So you can go for your regular Sisters Codex, take one from there, and then take one from here. Stack them up, which again is excellent. Just showcasing the models. I'm a big fan of the Celestians. Just love the idea of these copper brass shields. The theme of those is fantastic, really good. Yeah, and the halberds look nice. I do like the maces though, very cool. And Paragon units, they are beautiful, expensive, but they are really good. Right, so complete contrast now, shifting over to Chaos. Now we'll take a look at the rules for Be'lakor next. So, amazing new model. He costs 18 power or 360 points. So he's expensive, but not ridiculously expensive. There's other models. He's expensive enough, but there's others that are more expensive than him. But you are paying a lot of points here, so expecting something impressive. Interested in the faction keywords here: Chaos, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh, Demon. He's monster, character, Psyker, Flyer, Demon Prince, and then Be'lakor keywords here. So, obviously a damage table here. So his full spec, he is movement 12 with wings, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength 8, toughness 7, 16 wounds, 6 attacks as base, leadership 9 and 6 up save. As the wounds come in, he drops down on movement, strength and attacks. So movement goes from 12 to 8 to 6. Which isn't too bad. Maybe once he's stuck in amongst the enemy, 6-inch move isn't too bad. You'd have to be on his last 4 wounds to drop into that lowest bracket. His strength does drop down to 8 to 7 to 6, and the attacks go from 6, 5, 4. Fair enough, but he keeps his weapons, always his weapon skill, ballistic skill always remains the same, at 2+. So weapons then. There's no shooting, I don't think, with him. It's purely close combat. 6 attacks base. We'll see what kind of improvements you get here. It's obviously it is a Psyker though, so that helps. But let's see what he can do. So the Blade of Sorrows. Each time attack is made with this weapon, select one of the profiles below. So you've got 2 options. You can go for Sweeping Strike. So it's strength for the user, so it's either going to be 8, 7 or 6. AP -3 and 1 damage, and you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So you're looking at like 12 attacks, for example, on your full bracket, 2s to hit with that. So healthy enough. And then Piercing Strike, +4 strength, so now he's at strength 12, it's AP -4, and then it's the common D3 +3 damage, so very reliable with his damage coming through. Each time an attack is made with this weapon profile, invuln saves, no invuln saves allowed, so he will happily plunge into anything. Oh boy, he's a character killer. Nasty. That's just made him exceptionally nasty. No invuln save throws allowed, and he's at AP -4. Wow. He can take on the big boys now. Just with that rule, makes him scary. So now, decent enough stat line, deadly in close combat. I think, especially against characters. And now we'll see if we can get some enhancements. So I'll maybe go to Psyker first. This model can attempt to manifest 2 psychic powers and deny 1. No smite, and then 2 powers from the Noctic Discipline, which is just over the page actually. Yeah, okay, she's got access to those. Looking good here. And then these powers here. So there's a number of them, about 6 powers. Immortal Vigour. So 4+ invuln save. Each time a ranged attack is made against this weapon, subtract 1 from the wound roll as well. So you can be targeted, but there is that invuln save, and it's -1 to wounds coming through as well. And he's toughness 7. So that will certainly help. And then Shadow Form. Each time an attack is made against this model, your opponent cannot reroll the hit roll. Each time an attack is made against this unit, subtract 1 from that attack's hit roll. No, that's crazy. Hit an attack. I take it that's shooting and close combat. If it is, it's deadly. This is looking very, very powerful here. So you can't reroll your hits, and it's -1 to hit on top of that as well. So you're really starting to stack up some rolls here. So 4+ invuln save, -1 to the wound rolls for ranged attacks, -1 to the hit rolls, and you can't reroll. He's going to be tough to pin down here. And then first chosen, if this model is your warlord, you must have the Shadow Warlord trait. Lord of Torment. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this model, subtract 1 from their leadership. Each time when a combat attrition test is taken, subtract 1 from the combat attrition tests. Nice. And then it's decent, but quite rare-ish that it's going to go ahead, but you might get a great result of that sometimes in a game. And then the Dark Master, it's an aura ability. While a friendly demon or Disciples of Be'lakor unit, excluding vehicles, is within 6 inches, each time model unit makes an attack, it's reroll 1s, right? So it's just a reroll 1 bubble. And then Spiteful Jealousy. If your army is battle forged, you cannot include this model in a detachment that includes any other Demon Prince models. And each time this model makes an attack that targets a Demon Prince model, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wing roll. Alright, so he fights extra efficiently against competing Demon Princes. I think he looks very, very good. Yeah. Yes. So very, very good. Brilliant sculpt. Rules look fantastic. He looks tough. And a real hunter of characters, I think, is where he's going to be the most dangerous. Ignoring invuln saves. Yeah, there's a stack of modifiers to help keep him alive as well. So you've got Disciples of Be'lakor here. It's an army of renown. So you got your restrictions to fit in with the fluff and theme. Then you get your benefits. So we'll run through these. We'll go to the psychic powers to enhance him in just a minute. We'll run through this first of all. So your warlord must be Be'lakor, so he's got to be the leader. But you know, it's the brand new model, so you're going to want him to be the focal point of your army. With the exception of Be'lakor, your army cannot include any named characters or Demon Prince models, right? So it's really got to be themed around him. Your army cannot include any Bloodthirster, Lord of Change, Great Unclean One, Keeper of Secrets, Demon Engine, World Eaters, Thousand Suns, Death Guard, Emperor's Children, Chaos Knights, Titanicus, Traitorus, Khorne Berserkers, Rubik Marines, Plague Marines, or Noise Marines units. Your army cannot include more Chaos Cultists units than Heretic Astartes Infantry, excluding character units in each detachment in your army. You cannot include a second demon in your army that owes its allegiance to the same Chaos God, unless the army also includes at least one demon unit that owes its allegiance to each of the other 3. You cannot include a third demon unit in your army that owes its allegiance to the same Chaos God, until your army also includes at least 2 demon units that owe their allegiance to each of the other 3 chaos gods, and so on. Be'lakor and Heretic Astartes units are excluded when considering these restrictions. These restrictions also apply to any units that can be added to your army using a demonic ritual ability. Right, so it's pretty heavy on restrictions. So, I guess you just wouldn't take this detachment. It's very restrictive. But if you do, I'm sure there's some benefits here. So, all units in your army, excluding unaligned and building units, gain the Disciples of Be'lakor keyword. All units in your army with the Heretic Astartes faction keyword, excluding cultists, gain the Legion Disciples keyword. All units in your army with the Chaos Demon faction gain the Demonic Disciples keyword. All troop units in your army gain objective secure, so that's helpful. If a detachment contains any units of the Chaos Demon faction keywords, it can use stratagems, relics, war traits as if it were a Chaos Demons detachment. If a detachment contains any units of the Heretic Astartes faction keyword, it can use stratagems, relics, war traits as if it were a Chaos Space Marines detachment. Note, however, that such detachment never counts as a Legion detachment. You cannot use any Legion-specific stratagems, relics, traits, psychic powers, and so on and so on. So, you have access to the Disciples of Be'lakor stratagems. You can generate psychic powers from the Noctic Discipline, which we'll cover in a moment. And then units do not gain a demonic locus, see Codex Chaos Demons, but instead gain the locus of Shadows ability described below. So it's this one, and Legion Disciples. Units in your army cannot have a Legion trait, but instead gain the Disciples of Shadows ability, which is here. Okay, so Locus of Shadows is an aura. While a friendly, demonic Disciples unit is within 6 inches, each time a ranged attack is made against that unit. Your opponent cannot reroll the hit roll. Nice. If the attacker is more than 12 inches away, subtract 1 from the hit roll on top of that as well. Nice. So his ability has been transferred as a 6-inch aura onto other units. Excellent. And then Disciples of Shadows, each time a combat attrition test is taken with this unit, add 1 to the test. And each time a ranged attack targets this unit, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. Nice. Wow, it's a real shadowy chaos army here. Brilliant theme. And if you can cope with the restrictions and really make the army strongly themed, then the abilities that you get are pretty good actually. Okay. So he actually comes with a Warlord trait as well. If you take his Warlord trait, if it is your Warlord, you must have the Warlord trait below. Shadow Lord. In your command phase, select one friendly Disciples of Be'lakor unit, excluding vehicles, within 9 inches of this Warlord. To the start of your next command phase, each time one unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit rolls. Rerolling hits. Nice, a bit like a Space Marines captain. And then you've got 6 unique stratagems for the detachment as well. If your army is of the Disciples of Be'lakor, you have access to these stratagems. So, Shadow Pact 1 CP. Use this stratagem in your command phase. Select one Mark of Chaos Legion Disciples infantry unit from your army that has not dedicated itself to a specific dark god, and then select one of the pacts below. To the start of the next command phase, the unit has that pact. So, Pact of Blood. Add 1 to attack's characteristic. Right. Pact of Fate, 5+ Invuln save. Pact of Plague, add 1 to Toughness characteristic models of the unit. Pact of Excess, add 1 to Move, Advance, and Charge rolls. Yeah, so helpful enough, just 1 CP for that. So good. Demonic Boon, 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the fight phase when a Legion Disciples unit, excluding vehicles from your army, is within 6 inches of a friendly Demonic Disciples unit is selected to fight. At the end of that phase, add 1 to the strength characteristic models in that Legion Disciples unit. And each time model in the Legion Disciples unit makes a melee attack, 6 is auto wound. So another one, helpful enough. Legions of Shade for 1 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of the movement phase or at the end of your charge phase. Select one Disciples of Be'lakor unit from your army. At the end of the phase, models in that unit can move horizontally through enemy models. Move through enemy models. Weird. Very cool. Nice theme. Mortal Boon, 2 CP. Use your strategy at the start of the morale phase. Select one demonic disciples unit from army within 6 inches of a friendly demonic or legion disciples unit, excluding vehicles. At the end of the phase, each time that demonic disciples unit makes a morale test, it's automatically passed, and you count as having passed that unit with an unmodified roll of a 1. Okay, so similar to your standard stratagem for passing morale. Drought of Terror, 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the morale phase. Select one demonic disciples unit from your army. At the end of that phase, the unit gains the following ability: Drought of Terror aura. Friendly enemy unit. Whilst an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit, each time model flees from that enemy unit. If any models in this unit have lost any wounds, one model in the unit regains a lost wound. If no models in the unit have lost any wounds but is not at its starting strength, one of its destroyed models is added back. Models added back to this unit can be set up with an engagement range of enemy units that are already within engagement range of this unit. And then Blessing of Bellicor, 2 CP. Use your strategy in any phase when a saving throw is made for Disciples of Bellicor model from your army against attack. Model from your army against an attack is failed. The damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0, and you cannot use the stratagem if Bellicor is not on the battlefield. So yeah, it could be helpful enough, just deflecting away some of that damage. So we've got Bellicor here. Stat line looking excellent, very very dangerous, ignoring invuln saves, brilliant. Bonuses going on, looks quite hard to kill. But now we'll see how we can enhance him, or indeed other units nearby with psychic powers. He can take 2, but there's 6 to choose from it. So Shrouded Step, it's a blessing, warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly disciples of Bellicor infantry units within 18 inches of the Psyker. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So it's a pick up and redeploy, deep striking in. If that unit remains stationary this turn, it is instead treated as having made a normal move this turn. So yeah, very very helpful actually with that one. Good one. Reaved in Shades. As a warp charge value of 7, if manifested, select one friendly disciples of Bellicor unit, excluding monsters and vehicles within 12 inches of the Psyker. To the start of the next psychic phase, enemy models cannot target that unit with ranged weapons unless the unit is the closest eligible target to the firing model or is within 12 inches of the fire. So yeah, for veiling and protecting a unit, again, very very useful indeed. Can't do it on monsters and vehicles though, but you can do it on other stuff. Yeah. Again, that may well prove very useful indeed. Pool of Despair. It's a malediction. Warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit is within 18 inches and visible to the Psyker, roll 3d6. If the result is greater than its leadership, select one of the following to apply until the start of the next psychic phase. So you can pick. If the unit has any aura abilities, select one of those abilities until the next psychic phase. That ability is shut down. To the start of the next psychic phase, the unit cannot perform actions. If it's currently performing an action, it immediately fails. Okay, so some tactical choices here. Or thirdly, to the start of the next psychic phase, in the fight phase, the unit is not eligible to fight till all other units have done so. So you force them to fight last. Again, tactically, very, very useful. So these are, I wouldn't call them devastating psychic powers, but there's some very helpful ones here, especially to friendly units nearby. He looks after his own, as Bellicor. Void Slivers. Void Slivers. It's a Witch Fire. Warp charge value of 5. It's very easy to make this one go off. Select one enemy model within 12 inches, visible to the Psyker. Draw a line between any part of the Psyker's base and any part of the selected model's base or hull. The selected model suffers a mortal wound. If it's 11 or more wounds, it's D3 mortal wounds instead. Every other enemy unit is within line suffers a mortal wound, and again if it's more than 11 wounds or more, then it's D3 mortal wounds. So what's the range on it? Is range 12. It's a sort of short range type smite with him. Yeah, so it's okay. You can use that in combination with smite, you can kick out some extra mortal wounds. Penumbral Curse. It's a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker to the start of the next psychic phase. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 for the attack's wound roll, and reduce the arm penetration characteristic of the attack by 1. So, I guess he could select himself for that. here. And then Betraying Shades, which fire, value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches and visible to the Psycho. Select up to 6 models in the unit and add together the unmodified attacks characteristic of those models. Or a number of d6 equal to the total, for example, if 5 of the selected models had an attacks characteristic of 2 and 1 had an attacks characteristic of 3, you would roll 13d6. If the result of the psychic test was 11 or more, add 1 to the dice throw. Result, for each roll of a 6+, the unit suffers a mortal wound. That one's not bad at all. Its range is range 18. Nice. Yep. No, dangerous enough for sure. We could get a nice big hefty amount of dice to roll for that if you chose the right target. Yeah, nice range. Range 18 is great. So it's a very helpful psychic powers there. And there he is, facing down Imperial Knights. Yeah, it'd be good enough. He'd be good enough. So we're on a Chaos Space Marines appendix here. Yeah. So all of the rules found in this section have previously been published in one of 3 books: Imperium Nihilus, Vigilus Ablaze, Psychic Awakening Faith and Fury, and Psychic Awakening War of the Spider. With exceptions noted below, these rules have not been revised or altered since they were originally published. These rules are simply reprinted here so that Chaos Space Marine players can continue to use them now that the aforementioned books are no longer available to purchase. No new rules have been added to this section. So that means I don't need to rules. It's just putting information together here, but no real changes to the rules taking place. I'll cover what they talk about here. There's a few little bits they want to mention to the rules. So in which case, I've covered these already in the review videos for the various books that came out. So if you want to check out those reviews, you'll find the rules for them just there. So that's your Imperium Nihilus, Vigilus Ablaze, Psychic Awakening, Faith and Fury, and Psychic Awakening, War of the Spider. So I've done reviews for all of those. You can check out the rules for the Chaos stuff in them. But what they're saying here, if the original rule contained an error or an ambiguity that caused us to publish an FAQ, in either case the rule has been reworded to incorporate any previously published errata. Right, so they have done the updates as far as errata and FAQs are concerned, so very good. If the original rule required updating for the 9th edition of Warhammer 40k was Warhammer 40,000 9th edition was released, then they have updated that. If the original rule had 2 separate effects, those rules have been reformatted so that each individual effect is presented with its own bullet point. That's the restructuring. And then Warlord traits use the Warlord keyword instead of Warlord. Stratagems have been had labels applied to them. And if right, so just reformatting to update for 9th edition. So good. Just not a straight reprint, it's fully updated here. It all merged together into one publication. So fair enough. Champions of Ruin, there's all the word bearers stuff. There's stratagems. Artifacts of Chaos. Iron Warriors, Emperor's Children. So all updated there. Handy enough, so Chaos players have got a fully updated rule set. Renegade chapters, traits and so on, all covered there, and that'll take us to the end of the book. Creations of Bile covered in there as well. It's Crusade rules at the back. Here, legendary titles, and the glossary there at the back. So there it is, that's the update then. So what you're getting is fluff, the story's moving on, you've got a big campaign going on with Warzone Charadon. Updated rules there, there's a new detachment to take for the Adeptus Mechanicus for Skitarii. It's okay, seems alright. Sisters of Battle, our Martyred Lady, looking particularly strong, some excellent relics there, really impressed with some of those. And then an update there for Chaos, drawing a load of previous publications together, updating them and then putting them all into one book for them as well. And then Bellicor, looking very nicely, strongly themed model, rules, and then the rules looking particularly strong for him as well, real sort of character hunter, and obviously an incredible resculpt available for him as well. So all in all, a decent publication here. It all seems to tie in quite nicely. Leave your own comments below. If you're any of those factions, are you impressed by the rules here? Is it going to help you out? And then, as mentioned, big thank you to Games Workshop. They sent me a copy of this through the post for the review. And check out Goblin Gaming. The link for them is in the video description below. If you can use that link when you make an order, then in a small way it helps out the channel here. It doesn't cost any extra to use. There's nothing added on at all to that, but I do get a little bit of kickback when you use that unique link. But that's the review. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.